Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Den. I am Dave, one of your three hosts, and I'm here with Gravity Crab and T-Swift or Die.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing this morning?
I'm not too bad. How's everybody?
I'm having a great old day. I woke up today.
Well, then you're off to a good start. There's plenty of time to screw it up, but I'm having a good day as well.
There's plenty of time to screw it up, Dave.
Yeah. Dave, you're so matter of fact today. Like this morning, you're just like, "Hello, welcome to Coffee with Den."
Yeah.
There are three hosts. These are them. These are them.
These are the
You
facts.
still screw up your day. Screw all of you. I hate
this
everybody.
is our new true crime series, and here are the facts. So yeah, it's going to be a good discussion today. There's a bunch of good comments or replies or questions in the replies section. Awesome. I'll make sure I tip those out, and we may or may not have a couple of people drop in on us somewhere over the next hour or so, and we'll time zones and all. We'll see how that works out. Let's see. Right off the bat, the only news we've got right now is that voting is open, so that's cool. So every month on Den, you can vote for a new layer that you like. And if you click on the little checkbox and you log into your account, you'll have options to navigate around. And on the circle with the checkbox is the LCP system. And so that's where you can go and vote on, excuse me, that's where you can go vote on new layers and new topics and things like that. So voting is open and we do it every month. So go vote.
I'm not logged in. I was like, why can I not click on the checkbox circle?
And by the way, just like whenever you're evaluating content on Den, you can vote as many times as you want. As much lore as you have is how much you can vote. As you can see, if you're watching, I've been collecting lore through the auto staking mechanism on Den for a while. And so the company account that we're using for Decent Gains has got a pretty fat stack. So we'll be going through and voting on that, giving the local Gainesville community ownership of some of the non-Gainesville layers, right? That'll help with the passive income that we can use for things like advertising in the layers and things like that. So boom, there's updates and news, right? Got rid of that tag. Check.
I can't get over how just buttery smooth the mic that you bought sounds.
I have gone too long sounding like I was transmitting from a fallout shelter and like the Brotherhood of Steel bunkers in Nevada or something.
Oh my God,
a can.
Hidden Valley.
Yeah. So I bought a nice Rode microphone and it's really great. It's got knobs for things. I can adjust stuff.
It's got knobs for things.
Yeah.
That's usually what I look for.
Yeah. And it's USB 3, which, as much as a computer nerd as I am, I like to do the analog stuff typically, just because, I don't know, maybe I like the scratchy sound. But I figured I would update and get a digital stuff. So it's USB, no interference, static, and all that.
You've been going for like an XLR interface and stuff like that this whole time, haven't you?
I was, and then I broke that. And then I was just using whatever microphone was on my webcam, right? Okay. Whatever the built-in microphone was. And that's why, the reason it sounded scratchy and overdriven is because it was. that kind of thing. So yeah, no, this is the first time I've used the mic, and it's weird in a good way. I like it. So props to Rode. If anybody works for Rode who's listening right now, or whatever you say, however you pronounce it. Good. Good.
That would be a wild thing if a Rode employee that made mics was listening to us right now.
Yep, and you are listening to the NT-USB model, designed in Australia and assembled in China.
Of course.
Yeah, so information on that.
We've got really hard-hitting content coming at you today.
Yeah, well, this is the coffee show. We have to. Yeah, we got to wake up first.
Brand of Dave's microphone.
Like you weren't a little curious.
No, I wasn't. I thought Dave just like had a cold. I did not think that you got a new microphone. I thought you were just like, I don't know, you drank some soothing elixir for your throat.
Chamomile
tea. I don't know. Maybe you swallowed a whole stick of butter at once.
Oh my God.
That's a side effect of COVID, actually, is you develop an opera singing voice.
Yeah, you get a great, perfect voice. Oh my God.
There it is.
On to the questions.
You brought up a thing about butter, and I've got to slide into this real quick.
Okay.
I don't know if this was after before I knew you or not, but a buddy of mine, my friend Quentin and I, Dave knows Quentin, once got into a contest to see who could consume the most like sticks of butter consecutively in a row. And I still, to this day, when I look at a stick of butter, it makes me feel a little gurgly. Not in a good way at all. I won, and that's not a good thing. It was 2.5 for me.
I don't know if anyone won.
No, nobody won. I have never felt more like crap in my life.
So there's a guy who won the Great British Bake Off.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how I knew he was gonna win. One, he was like a theoretical physicist. And because for some reason, I think scientists always win that show.
Measurements.
I think it's just because they're like perfectionist kind of deal. And then the other one is he literally he will eat raw butter. That's him.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I want him to win.
If there's a baker that eats raw butter, you win. I think that's just... I just always love the taste of
that on a shirt too.
Is what?
Like can we put that on a shirt? Like if there's a baker that eats raw butter, they win.
No, you win as the
honest,
customer, right?
You can put a lot of things on a shirt. I don't think anybody's going to stop you. Whether or not people are going to buy it, that's a whole.
I just like having the concept of shirts that nobody else understands, but me and like 6 other people.
I did put butter on cheese a couple of weeks ago.
Can you
just put butter on pizza?
Well, is it Havarti cheese that you can grill on it doesn't melt. You can put it on
like a little cube of fried.
Yeah. So we slice some of that up, do it on the barbecue, and I had this garlic and herb butter, melted butter, that I was using for I don't know, shrimp or something. I don't know what it was used for, but I was like, you know what? I bet it would be good brushed on this cheese over here too. And let me tell you, butter on cheese on the grill, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably a real good choice.
I've also put butter in coffee because I saw like John do it on the not you, John Stewart do it on the Daily Show or something with one of his guests. Yeah. Instead of adding milk, they were adding butter to their coffee.
That sounds terrible.
I don't do it as a thing, but I did it twice.
I once made cannabis tea. And in order to get that to work, essentially, you have to have some fat. And they just say, oh yeah, you just put the stuff in a tea bag and rub a little butter on the outside and then stick it in your cup. So I guess that's about the closest I ever got to that. Also, that tasted terrible.
Well, things not to worry about doing. You've heard it here. We've done the research for you.
Do not make a buttery tea bag full of weed and put it in a cup.
Butter on cheese, yes. Butter on tea bags, no.
When I woke up today, this was not the conversation.
Welcome to Coffee with Dan.
I was expecting to have. I'm going to be honest with that. This was not.
I thought I was going to be talking about potentially recovering a hard drive.
We are going to be talking about that if we get around to it, because I'm pretty sure Jacob Wayne has a question up on the screen about it.
Yeah.
You want to get to that?
Yeah.
Or you want to talk about butter some more?
Let's please be done with butter. I'm just thinking about the butter now, and it's bad.
Yep. All right. So let's pass the damn butter. Jacob Wayne asks or says, one of my Western Digital hard drives failed, and I posted shortly about it here. He links to it if anybody wants to check it out. I've got some important footage on there, and wanted to know what you'd recommend, or if you're interested in basically having it shipped and pulling that data. Is the gist of the question. Now that's possible. I would accept Matter for that. I love doing data recovery.
Honestly, if the light's just blinking and it's an external drive, if the drive itself isn't making like a clicky noise or anything, it's probably just the actual external housing. The problem is a lot of those don't have a standard connector inside, because it used to be like it was just a drive plugged into basically a little converter inside. Some of them still do that, but a lot of them have it soldered, and that becomes a pain in the ass.
Yep. Those USB things go bad a lot. Usually even if they do have the regular connector in there, sometimes you have to cover one of the pins to get it to work as an internal drive. So you could either try pulling it out of the case if it's in one and connecting it directly to like a desktop computer if you're comfortable doing that.
Because it honestly might just kick back up and be a failing drive, but it may still just be the drive is totally fine, and it's just the actual USB part of it. Yeah.
Now, I'm not an Apple person, so I don't know like how to do that with Apple stuff. But with Linux, you would need to install like support for the Apple format into your OS, and then it'll just read it if it's able to be read. I think it'll probably. It's the footage is on there. Worst case scenario, like if you have to recover it, this is professional footage. I need this. I'll throw $1,500 at it, to solve this problem. You can ship it off to a proper lab, and they can do either a platter swap, where you send them also an identical donor drive, and they literally, like in a clean room, they'll take it apart, pull the platters out, put the platters in the new drive that does work, and then also do a surface mount solder swap on the calibration chip.
Easier option. Sorry to cut you off, but easier option. If you're going to send it off to a company like that, instead of having to like hunt down and source a drive and all that, cool company here in St. Pete, actually, in Florida. It's called DTI Data Recovery. And I've sent, over the past 6 or 7 years now, I've sent probably about 50 or 60 drives to them in bad shape. And there's only been one they couldn't get data off of. And they deal with like sourcing a drive and doing all that crap for you. It's going to run you probably about $1,000. But
yeah, that's typically what you expect. Well, that's good. That's actually it's cheaper than the one in Texas I was looking at, and the one in Texas required you to send your own donor drive too.
Yeah, DTI is great. Yeah, they do a really good job. They've also had some pretty good success getting stuff off solid state memory, which is wild.
You can also send it to me.
Do not send it, John.
I will unjam it, and the way you unjam it is you put a lot of butter in there. It helps get the jam out. Okay,
yeah. There actually used to be a problem.
Butter and jam on toast.
Sometimes you'll get raspberried. Sometimes you'll get blueberried. Sometimes there'll be a marmalade. But really, really, like jamming was a big problem in the Space Wars.
Yeah, and the raspberry. Let me tell you, you don't want the raspberry. Nobody gives you the raspberry if they're not trying to start a fight.
So I can unjam that for you real quick. It'll cost you about $650 or $350. Something like that, and then I'll put it on a truck, and then at some point it'll get to you. I just go to. By the way, when I put it on a truck, I just go to a truck stop and I throw it in the back of a pickup truck.
and I hope it goes where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, and I write your name on it in crayon.
But crayon's waterproof, so it won't wash off in the rain. So that's good.
That's a good point.
I know what I'm doing.
And the best part about John's service is that it's very affordable. He doesn't charge $1,000, so it's a good deal.
And the chances of getting stuff back, you already know what you're getting from the get-go. Like it's like zero essentially.
Well, you didn't have it in the first place, right? So what's the harm?
There used to be a problem with hard drives back. Actually, you probably remember this, Dave. Like DOS era, and maybe even a little bit earlier, called stiction or stuction, where the drive heads would get stuck in the lubricant if they sat a little too long. And the actual fix for it, and never do this with a modern hard drive, this is not advice at all, was to take a hammer, a little hammer, and go to the center of the drive and go bink, and it would go clink, and then like come back to life. And that was the actual fix for it.
I've also on older drives, I've thrown them in the freezer
Yep.
to fix them, and it'll like shrink up all the metal and tighten everything up, and it'll start working again.
Yep.
But then like you got to hurry up and get data off of it because it warms up. After
don't do any of this. This is not this does not pertain to your situation. Also,
sure it does. Yeah, throw it in the freezer. It's fine.
All side notes, all things aside, if you plug it in and it's not clicking, like genuinely, it's just not spinning up. I'd be more than willing to take a crack at getting the data off of it. I mean,
I was gonna say,
I would need a 5 terabyte drive to put it on, but I could just transfer it probably at the shop.
I've got an 18 terabyte on the shelf back there. We can get it to them. We'll upload it on CS Skynet to a decentralized network and flex that system.
Send that shit via the internet. 5
Oh,
terabytes.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be a cool experiment in itself.
I'll host it from my office. I do pay Cox extra. You know, they charge me extra money to not have a data cap.
That doesn't surprise me a bit.
You know
Isn't
what I
it
mean?
amazing that we pretend that internet is like a finite resource? I mean, it sort of is,
it's
but
like
it's not like it's just gonna go
no,
away.
it's not, because
I'm not digging it out of the ground.
The only reason it's a finite resource is because the bandwidth is oversold. They count on everyone not being on at the same time, and so they sell them higher rates than they can actually provide, and they just juggle it around basically.
And the reason for that is because we let the phone companies have a monopoly in the early 1900s, and they were just like, we can do everything with the phone lines, all of it, and everyone was like, and they were just like, yeah, cool. I don't know what the hell else we're ever going to do with phone lines with phone calls. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, in our area, there's actually a corridor in around between a couple of the major cities where only one company is allowed to run data cables through there, and so like you get Windstream, and that's it.
Oh, God.
You get
Which is why
Windstream.
the internet within the United States of America genuinely has like rough internet. Like we think
what would be awesome, what would be amazing for the customer would be like a free market with competition would be fantastic.
Be so cool. Unfortunately, that's just not how it's structured, right?
So I also offer internet services. I will go to your house and stand on your roof with an antenna for 20 minutes at a time. I do require a 15-minute break between those 20-minute sessions.
So get your torrents downloaded in that 20-minute section.
Yeah. I will say you get about 3 download. You get about 3, but it is reliable. Okay, it's a constant 3. There's no in and out.
I remember paying for 12 down from Windstream and routinely receiving 3.
See, the good thing about T-Swift or Die's internet service is, what I was talking about with Cox overselling and having to juggle around all the customers because they don't have the bandwidth. John doesn't have that problem. He doesn't have other customers to share bandwidth with. So you get the full service.
Just
none that are paying or willing. I just show up at people's houses and do it. And they're like, what are you doing on my roof? I go, I'm helping your internet, son. And they're like, my internet's out. I'm like, well, I had to cut your internet so I can
plug my services in.
Okay, I had to
cut obviously.
Your wires.
That's where we found him. He was just on the roof of my job one day. He was just up there doing shit. Couldn't get him to stop.
I went to the mainframe. I cut the hard line. I put in mine. All right. And
track the IP.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to buy my service if you already have some. So I wanted to say to Jacob Wayne about the hard drives. I'm also interested in the camera service with the nomadic gear. That's Jacob Wayne, right? Nomadic gear. Yeah. And so I've got a trip coming up to Iceland, and we're going to do the whole ring trip, the road. We're going to go out there for a week and do the whole ring around Iceland. And I wanted to suggest that maybe we could do a trade, because I wanted to do the nomadic gear thing where I rent. So what they do is they will rent their gear out, GoPros and stuff, where you can record your trip, and then you send it back to them, and they'll edit your vacation video for you, and you have a cool memory, and you can send it to your mom and all that stuff. So maybe I can recover your data, and you can make a vacation video for us.
That would be really cool for like bands that are on tour and stuff.
Yes, it would.
You with no Apple computer of any kind will recover that data. Gotcha.
Well, that's what Linux is for.
I'll recover the data, and I'll
that'd be great.
I'll happily trade it out for Dave's vacation.
I was trying to do it where I didn't owe Gravity Crab an IOU, but that's fine too.
You don't have to owe me an IOU at all. It's fine. It's what I do every day.
That's like an announcement of an announcement. It's I owe you an IOU, and then the IOU will be owing something else. So cool. We've covered that topic to death. Let's move on. Chupacabra, can you go over the way that a new project, if it wanted to create a layer, how would they go about it? And so the question here is that basically the different types of ways, different ways to get a hold of your own layer. So Den offers two main types of layers. There's the LCP ones that I was talking about earlier, where the community goes in and votes for it. There's rules around who wins. Sometimes they change each month to keep it interesting. And when they get created in that process, you have a community-owned LCP layer with a finite number of what we call lot, the layer ownership tokens. So those ownership tokens, you can't mint any more of them. That's how many will exist forever. The other type of layer is a business layer, right? So an example would be the Gainesville layer, and I started the music layer as a business layer too. So those can be purchased from Den for I'd have to reference what the current rates are. They're different from when I got involved earlier because Ethereum has gone up and down, and that's what it was priced in initially, yada yada. But I think you can use Matter too to do that. Could be wrong, but I'll have to check.
I would assume
But
you would.
yeah. I just don't know what exactly the payment options are right now. But the point is, it used to be 1 Ether, and you bring your own lore, right? So the current pricing is different, but the same concept is there. Is you as a business or as somebody has a community who wants to bring the community in and have a place that, okay, I want to dictate who gets ownership tokens. I want to be in total control of this community because we already have a community kind of thing, and we can bring it over and I already know who needs the tokens, yada, yada. So you can do that. When you do that, you have a bunch of options. Part of the question in here is, how did StickyDAO get their layer? And then there was another part of the question here, which is, no, maybe a different question that I read before. So yeah, StickyDAO is using one of the, I think the middle tier of business layer. So there's the default one is the one that comes with all the built-in features of Den. It's almost the same as an LCP layer, except the only difference is you can mint more lot if you want. Like if you have a business reason to do that, you can do that, or a community reason to do that, then you can just mint more of those. I do that for the Gainesville layer to hand them out at shows and stuff like that to whoever comes out. And then from there, you have options for governance. Since it's your layer, you can set up the governance however you want. What StickyDAO did is they have the stickies, they're NFTs, that they launched not too long ago. And instead of using the default governance system and built into Den that uses the lot tokens, right? Whoever has those tokens has that much of a weight in their vote. What they're doing is they're using their StickyDAO token NFTs as governance tokens on Den. So yes, that's like, you can reference other. There's a different question about referencing other tokens and not just Matter or lot. So that's what they're doing. And so you can have a fungible or a non-fungible token. And that means that any DAO that already exists could come in and use that on our system. So you can use your existing governance tokens and your existing stuff that's set up in your DAO, and then you can implement the governance tools using those tokens instead of Den's tokens. It might be confusing, but I hope that works. So let's see. Yeah, the problem with Telegram is scammers and bots and things like that. That's something that I like a lot of Den came out of that problem exactly. Not having a place that it was able to be organized for people, that was easy to use and was not subject to so much abuse, I guess, right? So Den has really helped with that. What else? Finally, they also like that the Den community can see that their new crypto project isn't a scam, because if it was, it would certainly get downvoted, slammed, and called out as a shitcoin. Yeah, the consensus, and a lot of new users won't find this out really until they read into it some more, but the consensus mechanism is really interesting because every post goes through an evaluation consensus by, random internet people. And you get the cool stuff, like the good stuff rises to the top, and usually the bad stuff gets downvoted. I've seen a couple of scams on here. One of them recently, I don't think that the person posting it knew that it was a scam, but it was one of those videos you see on YouTube somewhere where they take that interview that Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk and I forget who else at the moment had, and they'll just put their scam video over top of it. They'll just cut out their statements and they'll make a video that has their company website and go here for free Bitcoin and, big Tesla SpaceX collab. And YouTube just leaves them running all the time. Almost every time I go to YouTube, there's one of these scams running and it's the same stuff.
Welcome to the YouTube algorithm being an absolute shit show.
Yeah. But whenever I stream and I try to play music that is literally like supposed to be royalty free and able to be streamed, they cut off my stream. So I don't know. It's just the priorities. So yeah, I'm glad that they're looking into Den and liking what they see, because there's a lot of flexibility here on how you can set it up. And the last thing is, if they wanted to create a layer, it is contact support, and we will find that solution that you need, I guess, right? So
hey, question real quick. Which of the layers on what numbers are winning for the LCP this month?
I think it's 3 and 5. Let's go look. 3
and 5. Oh my God, Linux is right in between those two.
Well, it'll move around.
Mm-hmm.
We might go deeper next time.
We have to go deeper.
Yeah. Well, so last time we did, and that's a good segue because I can go to the next question next. I was done with that one at the moment.
Oh, cool.
Last time we did 8 and 13, and we got some layers created that had less than 1 million votes, right? So less than 1 million lot created. We haven't had a layer with less than 1 million since we started the LCP this way. So that was cool that you were able to get, dig down and get some that didn't have such a high max supply on the tokens. So that's interesting. And also there's something else that was brought up in the previous question was the 2,500 matter and 8 unique voters. That's if you want a layer, but you don't want to go the business B2B route, you want a regular LCP layer, you can actually, during the creation process, there's 2 different ways you can create one of the layers that did not win, right? So I just said that 3 and 5 are going to win. Not the ones that are up here right now, but whatever as the votes move around. But also number 1 by unique voters will also win. So India is in the lead with that. Wait, hold on. Yeah, 54, and then 44 is Japan. So once the voting phase or the commitment phase ends in 6 days, the next 5 in a row by unique voters will be able to be created by a small fee that increases the further you go down the list. So, for example, if you wanted to create Japan and it was still in this place, it would be, I think, 200 matter, right? And then 4, 6, 8, 10. An extra 200 every time you go down the list. So up to 5. So you could create any of these or any layer all the way down to 8 unique voters can be created for 2,500 matter, right? So whenever you're voting, don't ignore the stuff at the bottom just because it's like, oh, this isn't going to win, so I'm not going to bother voting for it and putting my lore into it.
It may just appear at some point.
It may just appear, right? So, yeah. I don't know. Is there anything in here that you would be interested in doing that with? Because we can look at it. Let's see. The tutorials one. So this is an interesting one. This is a great example, actually, because we've got this thing called Decent Gains, and we're like basically sorting out the different things we're going to be doing to mine cryptocurrency or earn it somehow. And so one of those things is Den. And so what we could do is we could create tutorials, and we could own a good chunk of the tutorials layer, and we can make that layer really, really awesome and useful and high quality tutorials.
That
and
would be
things like
kind of
that.
neat, actually. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a pretty acceptable place to post a whole bunch of tutorials,
Sure.
seeing as
Yeah.
it is a tutorial there.
And the tutorials could be about things that are not Den. It could be about, like, how to install or compile a miner. Even though that fits in the mining layer, it could also be cross-posted here, that kind of thing.
How do you feel about like the morality of that, of like buying a layer, creating the layer, and then owning all of it, even if somebody else wants to post anything in there? Like you're gonna own 100% of it, right?
No. There's 9 unique voters in there right now. Oops, excuse me. Hold on.
Well, like if you were to buy it and do your own, like those 9 unique voters wouldn't have their.
So that's a good clarification. When you do that, if you were to pay 2,500 matter to create that, it would be treated as a winning LCP entry. So that means, for example, right now, Decent Gains has 0% ownership in this, right? We have not voted for it at all. I'll go ahead and vote for it because I know I want to have a little bit in it at least. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, there's 9 voters, there's 10,000 lore. I don't want to like come in and like, put a bunch of lore on it to push it to the top. That's not my strategy. I want to keep it at the bottom, so that the lore count is like not up in the hundreds of, thousands or millions range, because I think that will make each individual lot token more valuable. So let's see. I'm going to put in, I'll match it, a little bit under 10. I'll put 9K. Right. So that's going to give me 46%. Now that's a lot, but it's not the majority. I'm hoping somebody else can share that, or I can give it to other people that are producing content for it. Right. I like to get extra, more than I would typically get, so that I can tip it out to people that are showing that they're like really putting in, making that layer great again, that kind of thing.
So it can be distributed to people that are actually participating.
Yeah. So I'll get extra, more than I intend to keep, and I'll vote for that. Right. And now I have a stake. I've signaled that I'm committing 9,000 lore to this. And so the total lore has been bumped up from 10.5 to 19.5 K, right? With 10 unique voters. Now, at the end of this cycle in 6 days, if this doesn't win, which I don't think it will, because it would have to compete with some stuff that's been up at the top for a long time, right? There's probably, the top 10 are one of those are going to win, probably, right? But also, if I wanted to go ahead and start doing this, I could fork over 2,500 matter, which, as you see, I don't have in my account right now. I've got 2.3 for the business account. So I would go out and acquire some more, especially right now. I mean, I think that you can get matter pretty cheap at the moment.
It's down at the moment.
Yeah. So that's as a business opportunity, purely thinking as a business opportunity, I could go and get 2,500 matter right now and not touch what I have in Den for a pretty low price. And then I could use that to create this LCP layer, which will make it a max supply of whatever the number of votes are in at that time. And then all of the people that have voted in here also are owners. I don't get to own it outright. It still, brings everybody in from the proposal, just like normal. And morality wise, I think that's great. I don't think it's a problem at all.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. Quick question. Can you look at my screen really quick?
Yeah, you want me to put it on the display for everybody else to see? Or just me?
Let's let everybody look at it.
Let's just bring it up. All right.
There's no secrets.
Is this a new NFT?
I'm an open book. No.
Cool.
Why does it
it's
say?
a very wide screen you have there, John.
Why does it say commit phase ends in zeros?
I don't know. Mine doesn't.
Yeah, it won't let me fucking vote on anything. Y'all trying to kick me out?
Well, why don't you go down to the bottom right in settings? And what does that say in the top right there for your version number?
2.0 bunch of ones.
111?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need one. Wait, what? 1.1. Yeah, you need 1.112.
Okay.
So you need to refresh.
I've refreshed like 800 times.
Did you? Have you cleared your cache? Let's do a small bit of troubleshooting. Do you know the keyboard shortcut to clear your cache on that browser? Can you try pressing Control-Shift-R?
Control Shift R. Am I gonna lose all of my?
No. Boom! Look at that. The number updated.
All right, there.
Now
it
go
is.
try it again. Wait for it. Don't get too clicky. This has to load for a minute, and then okay, it still doesn't say it. Wait, nope, still doesn't. That's weird. What browser are you on?
Troubleshooting time.
Yeah, that's
Chrome.
fine. You're on Chrome. I haven't used Chrome in a while.
What
I'll have
extensions
to try
do you
it.
have?
No,
What
let's not.
extensions do I have? I've
Let's
got
put that on
Cialis,
the-
I've got
Oh no, we're
Magnet.
here already.
What?
No,
not those.
Let's put that on the back burner.
I've got
All right.
Extends. That's another one that was on.
Oh,
Ordered
why
that on
not?
Spike
That's fine.
TV back in 05.
Oh God, I remember those commercials. The freaking Extends. You can still buy those in Dollar Tree. Side note.
Hey, do the Control Shift R thing on this page. I wonder if it matters. he didn't do. He wasn't. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, that
So
was
John just dropped
perfect.
out. I'm assuming
Oh
he
my
was
God.
on the tab that he was broadcasting for when he did the hard refresh.
Holy crap.
But that was great. Let's bring
That
him
was the
back up.
equivalent of you telling him to hit like Alt F4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you ever been in a game and someone's like, "Oh, it's a secret code. Hit Alt F4."
No, don't hit Alt F4.
So I thought you actually meant on this page, like, oh, try it on a different page.
No.
Oh my God.
So you were on the actual
It's-
voting LCP page.
Yeah,
So
that's
try doing the Control Shift R thing on that page.
I did. Okay. I also thought
Okay.
it would have been funny if I did it on this page. I did it for the jokes.
Sure you
Okay.
did.
I'm a friend of the show, so it updated.
All right, let's try it again. Let's see. Oh, it works now.
Oh, hey, would you look
Fantastic. So there you go. If you're having issues like that, clear your cache. That's all I did with John. The Control Shift R thing is what on some browsers, apparently on Chrome as well as Firefox, will give you a hard cache refresh, and it forces the page to reload the web app. That then can get the accurate stuff. So we have just solved a problem in real time. Fantastic.
Why is
Fantastic.
it that when you click on like the name of it, first of all, why can I highlight it? And second of all, why does it bring me back just to Den.social?
Okay,
Isn't
so I'm
that
going to bring
because
your screen off now. You're going to go away.
Oh, what?
It's because the layer
All right.
it's because the
I
layer
just
doesn't
helped-
exist.
Yeah, I just helped John fix a problem. He's still complaining, so I'm going to move along.
That's my whole day at work.
So yeah, the idea is that what I was getting at is it might actually make business sense for me to get we have two of the business owners here, so David and David.
Yeah, no, that's actually not a bad idea. I
Yeah,
actually sent you a message in session about that.
Okay, great. So we might actually do that. Heads up to everyone. You might see that in action.
Seems like a good idea, honestly. I wouldn't mind having a dedicated location with a small amount of lore.
Yeah, especially while like right now the crypto markets are in chaos. So while
Yeah.
it's cheap to do it, not financial advice, but if anybody was waiting around until the number went down before they got in on whatever, cryptocurrency
The number went
thing
down.
the number went down.
Yeah, big
number went
time.
down a lot.
Yeah, John at work, my buddy John at work, he's been
Yeah.
he's been eyeballing all these different coins and he's been watching it go down. I'll look over at his desk occasionally, I'll just see like Coinbase open and he's tapping away at shit.
Mhm. Speaking of Coinbase, this is on Den, so this is highly relevant. Is Coinbase in their terms of service says that if they ever go through bankruptcy or have like legal problems, that any of your coins that are in their base, basically anything on your account that is still on Coinbase and not in your own wallet, where you hold your private keys and stuff, they will use as assets and collateral to pay for whatever
Christ.
legal expenses and stuff like that. It'll be treated as company assets, not as your money. So not your keys, not your coins, and get your shit off of exchanges if that's where you leave them, because
it's a
if they are
bad
on an
idea.
exchange, they belong to the exchange, not to you. So a little bit of advice there. Let's
Good
see
to
here.
know.
Let's move back into the questions and read what Passport Gang has to say. If a project comes on board and wants to use their native token to reward in their layer, would members receive both the native and matter, or how would that work? I started to answer this yesterday, and the answer is yes, because you can do it either way. you can do it one of a few ways right now. And if there's anything special you want to do that is outside of these few things, it can be coded as a custom integration. So there already is two. I lied earlier when I said there was only two main types of layers, because I just remembered there's also private layers. I'm in at least two private layers where you can have an NDA between who's in there, so you can talk about like secret squirrel shit with your company and not have it as public and yada yada.
Real skunk work stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So you got your skunkworks layer. It's super secret. Nobody can see it unless they're, manually invited to join the layer and that kind
That's
of
a
thing.
good name for a private layer.
Mm-hmm. And the thing with that is that it's completely disconnected from the economy, meaning you're not competing against people that have public layers, because that would not be fair. So the private layers, you don't earn, you're not mining in that layer, right? You don't earn matter for your private layer. So that would be a good candidate for a DAO that wanted to, maybe they have a reason to have a private layer, right? Like having a private Discord server, for example, invite-only server or an invite-only layer on Den. Those exist. And what you could do then is, instead of, since you already are not in the economy of the Den public layers, you could then, you could use whatever your native token is on Den. And you can even make that part of the staking reward system on Den, right?
I hadn't even thought about that for like private layers.
So you could actually take something you can do is you can take whatever the native token is for the DAO you're talking about, or for the project that you're talking about, and they can actually stake that token in Den to earn lore, and that lore can be used to vote in the LCP and stuff like that for other layers. So there's that. And in that case, they would get both lore and their native token, and their native token would be like auto staked, just like Matter. Now the question comes, obviously, is where those tokens come from. With Matter, Den is designed around that as a rewards token, so it was modeled into the mining from the beginning. With a non-native token, all we would have to do is have some sort of rewards pool that project is able to manage, right? Like, where's the rewards coming from? You know what I mean? So that's the only caveat, is that obviously it's cryptocurrency, which means we can't counterfeit it. We can't just mint more out of the ether of your token. It's your token, and you control it, that kind of thing. So some sort of rewards pool, and then totally doable. And then the other way you can do it is to do a public layer, right? You could do a business layer like I was talking about earlier, and you can do the same thing that I just described, except it would be in the economy of Den, where you would earn matter, and then you would also, in that case, earn rewards for your native token too. And even, I think Sticky DAO is, I don't know what the reward token is in, but they're rewarding like interaction in their governance system, right? Separately from our Den system. So bunch of custom integrations that you can do there. All right. Let's see. We've got one or two more. You guys want to go through them, or you want to break it up?
We're good. Keep going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Get our
John sounds excited.
Yeah.
Are you drawing another NFT over there, John?
I would never.
I had a sneaky feeling. I could hear some clicks.
I heard clicks, and I saw him concentrating, and then the half-hearted, yeah, sure.
I saw his I saw the eyebrows start to connect in the middle there, and I was like, yeah, he's drawing.
This is going to be a legit series of NFTs. Like, it was one of those haha jokes that was like, actually, if you do one of these every episode, it'll be a thing. We'll do it.
I mean, it's in the can board to turn them into NFTs.
It is true. That's true. Yeah. All right. So, Alexens. I'm not usually at the live events, but I watch it afterwards. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's recorded for that reason.
From the past.
Hello in the future. I would like the next meeting to talk about improving metrics, especially with regard to owned lots. I'd like to see in the metrics how much matter have received for ownership in each layer, even retroactively, i.e. since the layer was created. Right. So the question here points out that right now, if you go look at metrics and payouts, you can see daily rewards from the layers that you own.
But not like an overall.
But you cannot see, and I'll just go actually right there now and show my account that I'm in and what it looks like. What you cannot see is the total matter you've earned from holding a particular set of lot for the lifetime of it. You have to go through and manually calculate it. So you'd have to go through and say, okay, this day, and then scroll down to layer rewards. So these are all the layers that the Decent Gains account owns. And for some reason, fitness gave me a negative reward. I'll have to figure that out later. I don't know. I think that might just be the metrics page glitching out. I don't know. So yeah, you can see day by day how much matter you earn from just owning part of a layer, right? So we've gotten the most from our Gainesville layer because that's the one we own the most tokens in. And I actually would not expect that that was the most, but that's cool. But I'd have to go back to the daily payouts, pick the next day, go into that one, look at that number.
Math it all up.
Yeah, and math it all up. So that would take me 11 billion years to do. It's possible, but it's unrealistic. So what's being asked for is basically for you to have another. So there's matter earned. What we could do is add a lifetime matter earned column.
That'd be cool
for each one. You know, so it would just be daily and then lifetime, and then blah 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 blah. That would be great. I think that's a great idea. I can say also for sure that there's going to be an overhaul with with a lot of stuff, but specifically one of the things that is on the what do you call it? The not the roadmap, but the priorities list that we vote for every time we finish a feature, and then we say, okay, what's the next priority? One of those things is leaderboard for the layers and stuff like that, so you can see even more detailed metrics on everything. So I imagine that if you really want that, you should probably vote for that feature in the next round, which should be coming pretty soon, right after DMs, which are very close to being done. Right after DMs, we have a vote on priorities again, so people can go and say, okay, this is what we should work on next as a DAO. And that'll be directing the devs to do that. So maybe that's what happens. So thanks for the question. And make sure that you weigh in the DinDAO votes for those types of features. And as a reminder, you don't have to have a lot to vote in the DinDAO site-wide governance issues. Anybody on Den who has had any sort of interaction, earned any matter at all, has any lot or not, can vote in those. So there's a behavioral weight that you get if you don't have any assets except for, just some, even if you're a new account and you've only been here a week interacting, you've got some sort of say in that vote. So do weigh in when you see it.
Excellent. Sorry, every time I see that, I just think Bill and Ted.
Excellent. Yes. Josh O, let's see. Think the government will be coming for stable coins harder now? What do you guys think about the Luna and possibly drive will it possibly drive the entire market down? It's pretty low. Yeah. So if you don't, I barely know what's going on because I've just been catching up in the last couple of days. But there was a pretty brilliant attack carried out on a network called Luna against a stable coin called UST. That Luna had, they had designed some mechanisms around this stable coin, which is supposed to be pegged at $1. It's supposed to always be $1. And there's a bunch of fancy ways they do that with it being an open market and stuff. But so like it's a cryptocurrency, but it doesn't fluctuate, right? You don't have all the peaks and valleys and volatility. But if, you know what, let's look at it right now. If you go over to, let's say, CoinGecko.
I was going to say, I noticed this yesterday. It's something like one of these numbers was not what I expected.
Yeah, it's one of these numbers ain't right.
Yeah, is we talking USD there?
Yeah, so
okay.
So USDC
is usually a buck.
Is a buck, right? It's 99.7. That's fine, right? If you go to US, and so that's a different token on a different, like run by different people. And if you Terra USD is UST right here.
Yep.
This is their version of a dollar stable coin. Click, please click. It is going for 41 cents.
Holy crap.
So this is a
That's not a dollar, in case anybody was curious.
yeah. So that's about, that's not right.
That's about 41 of a dollar.
So what
41%.
happened was, if you read about the depegging, or whatever people are calling it, yeah, it depegged from the dollar. It's dumping, right?
Holy
Why
crap.
is that? Lot of complicated things you can read about. But basically, the attacker found a way to take advantage of some of their design, right? So, on my opinion on the whole thing is that sucks, right? Bad. For a lot of reasons. It sucks for Bitcoin too, because Bitcoin's involved in this whole snafu. But at the same time, these networks are going to be attacked by governments, and these networks are going to be attacked by, for profit, by criminals. So this is definitely a test of the system. I don't know how coordinated it is by who. I've seen some rumors about Citadel being thrown around. I've seen some conspiracy theories and yada yada. But basically, there's a heavy attack on stablecoin, on this stablecoin rather. And so now there's speculation because Janet Yellen is talking about it, right? And Janet Yellen is involved in the United States Treasury and loves to talk. I'm not sure she's always talking about something she knows about, but she loves to say things that are negative about things that I care about. That's all I'll say. So yeah, of course. So Janet Yellen's talking about stablecoins and the dangers, because they were talking about, the U.S. government is talking about launching a U.S. Dollar digital currency of their own stablecoin, right?
Stablecoins are evil. Side note, we're making one.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, oh, we shouldn't do that because look, what if it okay. So what happened, the other part of this is that the Terra Foundation had recently purchased a metric shit ton of Bitcoin for their treasury, right? To do things like stabilize their stablecoin in case this happens. I think this happened a little bit too early. They weren't expecting it yet because they just recently got done with this huge buy, right? And now that this is happening, this is what's happening, is the attacker shorted Bitcoin probably and knew that Terra was going to have to sell everything to be able to prop up their stablecoin, right? To buy, basically, to what Terra can do is they can use Bitcoin to buy back their stablecoin that's dropping to push the price back up, right? So the attacker must have known that. And if you go look at Bitcoin, you can see that they sold their Bitcoin. That's for sure. So BTC is Bitcoin, by the way. Could seem obvious, but that statement will piss people off.
We've hit this point where
boom,
like that's they sold it.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That's only in the last. What is that? What is my range here? Is that 24 hours?
24 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So let's zoom out. Always zoom out.
See, this all seems way just that there's too much coordination there. Something's weird.
Well, it's definitely a coordinated attack, but is it a person like normally we see attacks on crypto networks and stuff, or is it, the kind of thing that's coordinated by somebody who has like a nation state interest, and that kind of thing. So here's the last week, Bitcoin, people are crying, falling off a cliff, that kind of thing.
That's nothing.
Yeah, if you want to get emotional about it, you can look at a candle chart. So if you go to like KuCoin, you can see what Y'all Weird likes to talk about human psychology in the markets. You can see when it falls off a cliff, you can see the exact hour it happened. Hold on, go to, what am I trying to do? Spot trading, yes. So if you look at it, here, you can see, let's zoom out again and let's go to the daily chart. Boom. All right. So each one of these candles is a day, right? So here's today. We're on today. Yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before. So it started bleeding out way back here, beginning of April. April Fools. So it's just like the market was like, oh, everything's amazing. And then April Fools, it starts bleeding out. And then in the last, over the past several days, it's taken a giant dump. So we will see what happens. Everything is disrupted by this, it seems like, except some of my favorite tokens. Like, I know XMR, Monero didn't really like have as huge of a problem. It did go down.
Yeah, I haven't seen what Monero was at.
And I think like dragons were already at all-time low, and they didn't change.
Well, that's good at least.
Like it stayed at it actually performed against Bitcoin fine. Like Bitcoin went down, so but it went up against it to maintain its USD value, which was interesting. So like dragons actually went up against Bitcoin when Bitcoin went down. I think, I don't know. Maybe I got to go reference it. Not financial advice. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You got any thoughts on all that?
I didn't know much about it until right now.
Yeah, and I barely
That's
do.
some heavy shit. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the time to get out of Bitcoin and just start buying crystal antiques. Really just put your money where old people put their value, because that's what the U.S. economy is based on, right? The opinion of old people
is really based on that.
Buy tiny
It's a
little
funny way to put it, but yeah.
figurines. If anything that says Swarovski on it, that's going to be a good place to put your money. The little ceramic things that you get like at Christmas time.
The trinkets.
You know what? If you see them, buy them. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
Knickknacks. You're pro knickknack.
I got some stuff popping up in the corner there.
No. See, the amateur calls them knickknacks. I call them lifetime investments. Okay, this is what's going to make you retire later. The knickknacks. It's just I think that's a derogatory word for what I do.
I don't buy knickknacks or anything weird.
No.
Hey, look at my eagle watching over me from a thrift store, and my duck bowl over there. That's a swan. I think it's like a little wooden swan.
So you're invested, right? You've got savings. Yeah, they're on the shelf.
They're right on the shelf right there.
Let's grab this last question real quick. So Dragon Chain Hodler, any updates on swapping lore for matter, and do you think these tax tokens are low quality and scammy? Swapping lore for matter you can do right now. I don't know that there's an update to be had on that. I know we're doing a lot swap for lot, which is what your lore turns into after you vote in the LCP. If you're talking about that, it's one of the options to work on next. If you go look at the priorities list that is in the Den.social layer, that'll be opened up for voting after DMs are out. But for swapping lore to matter, there's some options. I would say that there's like if you're trying to get matter out of your lore, the preferred way that I have on that is for you to take your lore, or for me to take my lore that I've earned through staking and stuff, and apply that to the LCP every month. And then when that happens, I will get ownership of hopefully I pick the ones that win, and I have ownership in those. And what that does is it gives me a passive matter income. So the more lot that I have every month, the more matter passively that I get. It's kind of a snowball effect if you do it that way. So that'll start slow, but then get more and more over time. So you can do that. You can, let's see, for lore for matter, I don't have any more updates on that. As far as, there is going to be a lot for matter though. And the way we're doing that one is if I wanted to sell some of the lot from the layers that maybe I've got too much, or I just want to sell it for whatever reason, then the idea there is to sell it for an ROI. So if the system already knows, that these NFTs related to one of the previous questions, if you can say what's the average over time, what's the average daily reward for just holding one of these NFTs for this one layer, you can calculate an ROI from that. So you can say, I want to sell it for a 6-month or a 9-month ROI. It'll be this much matter. And so the idea is to give like actual utility value and have that be reflected in the marketplace instead of some sort of speculative game kind of thing. So yeah, hope that answers the question there. If there's an update that I'm on something that I'm not thinking of, maybe there's a discussion somewhere that I'm not thinking of or that I missed out on entirely, link to it and let me know, and then I'll get to it next time. So there's the input. Thanks, y'all. I'm gonna
questions this time.
Yeah, for sure. So let me get on the list.
Hard drive thing.
yeah, let me go down the list here and tip out everybody who did leave something, even if it's just saying hello. If you just said hello, I'll give you 2 matter. If you left a good question, I'll give you 5. So tip out Jacob Wayne. Thank you. Good morning. See here. Tip out Alxons and Chupacabra.
Passport
Thank
Gang.
you very
I
much.
just took that name.
And tipping out Passport Gang. Thank you very much.
So while he's tipping everybody out, what have you been up to, John?
Tipping out Alxon.
Just having a good time, having a good day. Hang out with my dog. My dog's been going nuts today.
Yeah, my cat's been losing her shit all morning.
She has not had as much attention as she wishes, which is fair, because she's a dog.
She's a pretty cool dog. She deserves a lot of attention. So.
She is the sweetest. Oh my god.
My dog's asleep. That's what she does.
Daedr's pretty awesome, though. I mean, she does just kind of hang out and run into the forest and bark at things like a weirdo.
Cool. So there's the tips. Thanks, everyone. What else do we have here? Did I leave myself a note on anything that I haven't brought up? Let's see here. Because we might just go over and look and see what's going on in the layers at this point. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Voting is opened. We talked about that. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. So let's remind everyone that there's a link to join the call here. And let's go see what's on Den.
I just realized your little office hours show down here. 3 hours of a guy looking at his computer, and it's just as interesting as it sounds.
Yes, exactly. I do have an office hours, not a show, just a stream on Monday mornings where I'm basically just working on my computer, but I'm also available to do any demos and stuff like that.
If I just pop into that and really loudly say hello, would it scare the crap out of you?
Pulse Chain Jack Clap. Thank you for the question. Let me, is Luna done? Maybe. So let me pull this up. The question here is Luna done? I think no, but curious your thoughts on Luna and I don't know Saitama. I'm not super familiar with Luna, with Terra Luna project. I know what they do and I think they're really neat. I think it's really, really very neat. But I think that Luna is selling a lot of Bitcoin at a lower price than they bought it at, right? So that is not a good thing. That's not good for them. I think that, is Luna done? Maybe. Maybe just because like the idea, and see, this is where I need to go read the documentation more because I hate having, hate's a strong word. I don't like having opinions that are based on other people's opinions. And that's all I have right now. I haven't actually gone and looked at Luna's documentation properly. So I don't know. I'm speculating though that this could be repeated based on what I've read on how it was done. Because the thing with apparently on that network is there is a lot of interaction between the Luna token and the various stables that they have. And so if there's a fundamental vulnerability here, it's either going to get patched, but I don't know how difficult that is because I haven't read the docs. I don't know how difficult that is. Or it's going to, I don't know. Because they just spent so much of their money on buying Bitcoin for the treasury. And now they're dumping all of that at a lower price because they have to. Like they have to save Luna. They have to.
If somebody was attacking, what a perfect time to do it.
The attacker, if they were smart, would have shorted Bitcoin and Luna. They would have made $1 billion, literally.
God.
I think what I read was something like, it was like 800 and something million dollars would have been gained in a short. So assuming that's what happened, Luna has to save their project, so they're going to sell their treasury. And if their treasury is Bitcoin, what better way to short something than to cause it to be sold? So I think that's probably what happened. Yeah, either that or like I said, it could be something that is a demonstration by it doesn't have to be a big whale. It could be a nation state or a competing or a hedge fund. Could be a fucking hedge fund. You know, like I was saying, there's rumors of Citadel, how pissed off they were and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's precarious and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It could be the end of them or it could not be. I don't know. I don't know enough. So, yep.
Now I'm just bookmarking a bunch of the Terra Luna stuff so I can look into it later.
Ladies, liquor, and leverage. The 3 L's that ruin your life. Thanks for the question.
I can attest for that. Liquor ain't fun. Ladies are a pain sometimes.
Ladies are never a pain, okay? Ladies
are you kidding me?
Ladies are the gift to, okay, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a lady.
Listen, okay, I can acknowledge that I am an absolute pain in the ass 95% of the time. So is my wife.
Fair is fair, I guess, right?
Love her dearly.
There's a couple of posts on Den about what we were just talking about too.
Yeah,
not your wife, but about Luna.
Not about my wife being a pain in the butt sometimes.
I'm going to be honest. There's probably a couple of posts on Den about women are a pain in the ass.
Honestly, I'm sure somewhere there are.
Don't go to the red pill layer.
Unless you like it. Go to the red pill layer if you want. Have fun there.
Yeah, you can go to the red pill layer. Just don't be a dick.
Right
they don't need any more publicity.
Yeah, they're fine. We're giving them some right now. They just need to like not be. Some of the posts can end up being pretty offensive, but that's sort of the idea over there, I think.
Also, good morning. I am Friday.
Yeah.
I'm going to the red pill layer now. I barely go there, but sometimes it is fun.
All right, so let's move on from Terra. But yeah, that's what I think. It's a big old. What did they say? We used to say in the Navy. We used to say it's a giant shit sandwich, and we all got to take a bite.
Oh, God. Well, that's not a visual I was necessarily in the mood for.
So what else is going on around Den? Let me sort by not new, but most popular and see what's trending. This is the part of the show where I invite anybody to come on. And this is the cool thing about this, too, is like anything that's on Den is on topic. So we can literally talk about anything.
Literally anything.
Hey, good morning. I am for I am.
Yeah, they're here now.
Thanks for joining us. Smash the likes. Yes.
Oh, God. Remember to smash that like button.
All right. So let's see here. Genius Assets offers innovative way of earning passive income through its platform in the advice layer. Cool. Make sure it's not a scam, though. Hold on. Popular ways to earn yada yada. What is yada yada? Why should anyone care? And a link. Cool. Well, thank you, Jan Crypto, for putting a link to what you copied at the bottom. I will read more on that later, so I won't vote on it now. I just want to make sure it's not a scam for the community. But if anybody wants to go in and look at it and evaluate it up or down, do so that the rest of us know. We've got Creature Comforts has how oil is made in the traditional way. When I saw this, I thought like petrol or something like that. So there's a video on making oil.
What I thought there.
Were they pressing olives? Is that what this is?
Yeah. So you do like when you make olive oil, do you like scoop it through this little, that thing in your car that's like the oil pickup, the little, metal bit that's got like a lip on it and oil flows into it.
The oil pan?
No, never mind. No. Basically, it has
the
a cup with
intercooler.
A ladle. No, cup with a ladle, and you go through and you like pick all the oil up off this olive mash, and then like the first pass is like the super fine extra virgin olive oil, and then like each subsequent pass is the lower grades.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know why I know that, but I do.
I brought a bottle of olive oil home from Greece once in like a plastic water bottle.
Oh my God.
It's authentic.
I bet that was the grossest water bottle after you were done with that. I bet it was good olive oil though.
Yeah, it was good. It was fantastic. Let's see. We know about the LCP phase. What else is in here? We've got science and tech. Pet Plus. Do you want to interpret what your dog barks?
Yes.
I would love to communicate verbally with my dog. Yes.
That would be fantastic. I'm the kind of person that'll sit here and have a full-blown conversation with the cat.
Because I do. So those who have pets learn to interpret their gestures and sounds over time. That's true. I definitely my dog will ask for treats by pointing to the location where they used to be, not necessarily where they are now. So even though we moved them to a different part of the house, she still goes to where they used to be and goes like looks at us and looks at the treats and the spot where it used to be, looks at us, looks at the shelf. And so anybody else wouldn't understand what's going on, but yeah, you learn your pet for sure.
Honestly, we have our cat. We have the gray cat Vonnegut, and he's so damn vocal that I can sit there and walk up to him and just be like, "Hey, buddy, how's your day?" And he'll look up and like meow back at me. I'm like, I'd love to be able to have a full-blown conversation with my weird cat, who has decided to pick the smallest place he could to cram himself today.
One step closer to a babblefish, it looks like.
A babblefish.
You know about the babblefish?
No, I think that was from Hitchhikers, isn't it?
Yeah, that's from Hitchhikers. It's a fish that you put in your ear, and then it burrows in. And then it excretes. It how did Douglas Adams describe it? It eats thought waves and excretes your native language or something like that. So like everything that you hear gets translated into your native language with the babblefish.
You know, I'd never actually seen Hitchhiker's Guide until probably about a year ago when Jackie was like, "You should watch this," and choice entertainment, wonderful stuff. Mm-hmm. Stephen Fry narrating anything is just fantastic.
There's a post in the NFT layer about why the NFT floor price has dropped dramatically. That's something else that's happened too. There's been sort of a consolidation, I guess, of people into different, quote unquote, blue chip NFTs. So there's a story about that in the NFTs layer. If you're into that, how's your NFT going over there, John?
It's coming along. I'm trying I'm using a different program this time, and it's just being a little bit more of a pain in the ass than Paint. I can show you what I got so far, but I feel like I could have done this in 10 minutes in Paint, and it's being a pain in the ass in Photoshop.
This made me laugh earlier.
It says today is Wednesday, which means tomorrow is pre-Friday, which means the next day is Friday. So it's basically Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty much Friday today. I always start to feel good like Wednesdays. It's like, oh, thank God. We're moving in towards the end of the week. Also, I'm so sorry to I Am for I Am there for having a new Chromebook or just a Chromebook. It just popped up and says new Chromebook.
Oh, got you. All right.
Oh, yeah. God.
I Am for I Am. Let's see here. Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out because I was looking at this meme.
Okay, if she got it 2 for 1, then you got a good deal. Then I'll give you that.
All right, hey, I'm gonna bring you up if you're ready. Hope you are. Here we go.
Wait, who's here?
Oh, I Am for I Am.
Hey,
what's joining us?
What's going on, guys?
Oh my God! It's somebody that we see and interact with all the time.
Oh my gosh, it's a giant blue person.
Yeah, I'm actually underwater right now. And,
yes.
Camera's kind of foamed up, and this is the best you're going to get.
That's totally fine. At least we
get
got
the waterproof one.
To be honest, I'm a little bit more, I guess, a little shy, so that's why I'm not sure.
Understandable,
fine, dude. Don't worry about it at all. We have to deal with our ugly bugs all day.
When you retire on crypto, you got to be a little more bashful and careful.
Oh,
yeah, you got to. You can't be showing off your face there, man. People know where to take the wrench.
Exactly.
Where to take the wrench.
That's right. And besides, the whole idea with the blue background shows that I lost my private keys in a boating accident.
Oh yeah, that's proof right there. It's funny. I was watching these. I was just looking at Monero memes basically. And it was, I forget, what is that TV show where they do the paternity test and they're like, the test.
Oh, Maury.
Or no, not the paternity test. The lie detector test, right? And it was like, it was a joke about the Bitcoiners thing about like losing your keys in a tragic boating accident to basically be like, no, I don't have any gains at all. It was a Monero meme, of course. So it was like, the on-chain analysis says that was a lie.
I might be cutting in and out because I'm also watching my nephew here, and he's eating breakfast here with me. So
all good.
I apologize for the background noise. I'll see if I can remember how to mute this thing. I hate these Chromebooks.
Oh yeah,
but
tell us about that. What don't you like about them?
Well, they're non-Linux. to start. To be honest with you, this is the first time I've actually ever had a Chromebook, and it's just light and simple. I guess because I use the caps lock a lot. Not that I shout or anything. I'm a pretty mellow guy, but I always hit this find button for cap locks, and so it pulls up the search. It drives me insane.
Yeah, I saw. So I remember they got rid of the caps lock key a while back on those. Is that still they still don't?
Yeah, both of them that she got. One's a Samsung, and it's that way. Give me a real laptop, please, or the desktop.
Sometimes I will hold, like with my pinky finger, I'll hold the shift key down and then type a few kind of things. But
Okay.
yeah, having to do that all the time would be no fun. I just don't think that they realized people still used it, or was it a statement to try to get people to stop typing in all caps? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, he just finished his breakfast. Just a second, guys. I'm going to mute you.
Yeah, no problem. So,
wait, are you serious? They got rid of caps lock?
Yeah. So they got rid of
Why would you
caps
do
lock.
that? Have they not read any Google reviews?
They did. Yeah, that's why they did it, to get rid of the hey, your caps lock key is on, the all caps shouting.
People are just so mean to them. They had to get rid of the ability to be mean to them. Like,
I don't like the Chromebooks just because I don't like the idea of not having like a lot of hard drive space to hold my stuff. It's sort of designed to use web apps, to use Google's, Google Docs suite and stuff like that. It's like an Android phone, but for a laptop or something. I like to have my stuff, I like to have like LibreOffice, and have my own program that I don't have to be connected to the internet to use and things like that.
well, now you're just being picky. Come on.
Yeah, I like to connect to the internet.
You don't want to have to tell.
I don't want to have to connect to the internet. What if I'm on a flight and I need to type a document and I got to have a Google Docs? I know it's probably a local cache, but still, I'm picky. All right, what else is in here? The myth of NFT. What is this? NFT is a centralized cryptocurrency, and we may be so wrong about it at the beginning. Okay. And then there's a link to a Medium article. So I'm just going to say, cool. What's the article say? And that's just, a half-assed troll. But like, I don't want to mark this as spam, but whenever something's posted and it's like just a click-through and nothing else. There's, so since it is the voting phase on LCP, this is probably a good idea. This is in random, so anything goes sort of in here. So that's a good place to put it. And it's somebody promoting their layer that they proposed. It's already in the LCP. So they're just renaming it and saying, hey, go vote on this. I'm still here. So is the layer. So if you're into military equipment, then go vote for it.
Oh, I forgot about that layer. We looked at that at one point.
Yeah, there's a contest going on over here it's over now. But I've been noticing contest layers mixing it up a little bit. This one was
the TV show one has been neat.
Yeah.
Some of those are pretty cool. Like you watch them on like Discovery Channel or something where they have all that military equipment or jets or planes, and I like watching that stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all kinds of cool stuff from that.
I like the stuff like I guess the shows on History Channel and stuff that I like is Top Gear on History for some reason.
I think so. No, I think it's on
how it's made, and I don't know if all that's Science Channel or History Channel or what.
Science Channel. How it's made, man. God, that's a cool show.
Yeah.
Except for food. I really don't want to know how my food is made.
Yeah, no, I do. We live in the U.S. I think at least most of us have no desire to know how our food is created.
There's a contest of people are betting on which cryptocurrency. What is the rule? Which one you think will pump the most in a week from now? And a week from now started on the 9th, which was 2 days ago. And that's okay. I was probably wrong in mine because I said Monero because I'm gonna.
Of course.
Then Josh O has a good point because Luna's way down. If they recover and Bitcoin's okay, it's going to come right back up. So,
what do you win?
5 matter, yeah, and 500 lore.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nice.
And they must, so the tokens must be up at least 1% in 7 days to qualify for the prize.
And must the token be like in the top 100 on the coin market cap?
And it has to be, I think, top 300 or something. But
top 300. Oh, okay. So all you got to do is, let's see, probably invest about what, $1.7 million
That's all you're gonna need
to pump it, and then you can get like $1 worth of matter and some more. That
exactly.
Hey, return on investment. Oh, wait a minute, we got to back out taxes from that. I think you're screwed.
Well, that's an
if
excellent.
somebody just for the lulz decided to pump $1.5 million,
I win.
that's like, and $5 or 5 matter from me.
Haha, I win. But that's how you like.
I'm going to dominate this contest.
I'm gonna get so much Den clout for this.
I'm gonna be a legend. Banner contest. There is a lot
Contest banner contest.
You know, there's something. Go. I didn't even read this. I'm already going to leave the page. Go to the list. If you want to earn some matter, one of the things you can do is look for new layers that don't have artwork yet. Mining, we got no artwork. I will pay somebody to make an awesome artwork for mining. I should probably go look and see if there's anything to vote on in there. I haven't been there in a while. Let's see. Banner proposal. Exactly.
Can you please go and propose the banner back to our normal one for Gainesville?
For Gainesville, maybe. I was told Smiling Caitlin said she liked it.
I'm so sick of the GNU just being up there.
All right. I'm going to vote yes on this, which is 13%. That's not going to push it over. So commit. And so now we have 45% approval on this banner. So this is Alice in Wonderland. Thank you. And actually, can I? Yes, I can. I'm going to tip out.
I voted on that.
I'm going to add a message, and I'm going to say, thank you for proposing a banner for the mining layer. Right? So tip, confirm. If you want to do something like make a banner for a layer that doesn't have one, there's a pretty good chance that the layer will appreciate it. And so if we cultivate a culture of tipping out when you appreciate something, that'll be healthy, right? So that's what I'm going to try to do. So mining needs an avatar. Let's see. What else? We've got AMA seems to not have an avatar. I don't think Beaksy or Crow's Nest is managing theirs at the moment. Who else? Is there an active one? Nope, that's it right now. So if you want to make some banners, or if you want to have ownership of something that I have ownership to, if you look at the list and you see that Distance got a whole bunch of the science and space tech layer, and you want some of that, go in there and say, hey, here's what I think that I can bring to the table and make this layer better than it is. Can I have some ownership tokens, please, sir? And then we'll talk about it. So that's something that I'm kind of interested in doing lately, is spreading out, further decentralizing ownership and things like that.
Why did you tell me to go to the Red Pills lair? I'm leaving there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the cool thing is like everyone is. I think I Am for I Am. We talked about like how to frame the governance models and things like that in here, and basically it's just your neighbors. As long as they're not like destroying the world and breaking the law and being obviously stuff you can't do, then do what you want in your house, I guess.
Right.
If I disagree and think that's shitty, well, don't do anything that's so shitty it's illegal, I guess, and don't incite someone else to do something that's shitty. But beyond that, there's terms of service for Den, just like there is any other platform, especially if it's in the US. You got laws to follow for sure. What do you guys?
I got a quick question.
Sure.
What do you think? How much is Den centralized at this point? Understanding that we're still in a beta phase.
Oh, that's a good question.
It is. Well, I guess it.
Yeah, that's a Dave question. Big
So
time.
it's obviously it's a hybrid system. We've established that already. So being built on Dragon Chain. Oops, that's my microphone that I just smacked with my hand. being built on Dragon Chain means that it's hybrid, centralized, decentralized, and the company or the business can, and Den in this case, can choose what's made public, what's made private, and can also choose what is decentralized and what is centralized. Let's see. There's going to be a difference between the technical answer and the organizational answer, I think, because organizationally it is already decentralized because of Den.DAO. And whenever we make changes, when I say we, I mean Den, as like denizens, everything. Whenever Den, the entity, makes changes or directs devs to work on this next, it's done through a Den.DAO vote, which everybody who participates in Den has a say. Now, the votes themselves, let's go and look at this governance section, because I think that I can explain this better with a visual aid. So let's see. If we look at Den governance, and let's just go down to what I was talking about anyway, which is the priorities proposal. Let's bring that up somewhere. Prioritize the development. So this is going to be a vote that comes back soon. This is the last one since we picked chat, right? So you can look at this list and you can see there's a gavel next to the chat feature, and you can look at the votes. You can see what different categories of denizens voted for. And I think the easiest way to answer your question is to point out in this system, to point out where the centralization is in governance. I think that's a pretty good route, and see how far we get with that approach.
All right, that's probably a good place to kind of look at. Yeah, because I hope that I can get the proposal on making a change to matter as it being an on and off route after the DM is done.
Mm-hmm. Right. So if you look, this is my decent gains account, which is not one of the, has no founder vote. My personal account has, I think, at least one founder vote. But you can see that we voted as a company for something else. We voted over here for matter lot trade, matter purchase as the feature, right? So you can see how much we voted there and how much other people voted. And I personally voted for the same thing that Decent Gains voted for. And so you can see my one little founder vote over here, the blue sliver, right? So I have all the blue slivers are, oh wait, maybe I do for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, you can see how the vote's broken down in here. You can hover over with your mouse, and it'll break down kind of like what the different percentages were. And so I guess what I was getting at is most of the liquidity right now is provided by people that also are founders, I think. And so because of that, you have centralization in governance that isn't built in by design. It's actually just not fully fleshed out yet. So as we get people adding liquidity to the different pools, to the lore pool and to the matter pool, you'll see that the governance gets more and more decentralized as more and more people take up that liquidity half of the vote. So they have half of the creator vote and half of the owner vote, which essentially is a whole vote out of potentially 4, even though it's broken up this way. So yeah, that part of the vote is pretty centralized because the same people that are like I have liquidity in there. I'm sure Joe does. I don't know who else does, but I know a lot of it was sort of the core team. So the voting is probably like at the moment, if we collaborated with just the founders, right?
Okay.
This is what centralization is. It's like the ability for one party to collaborate and overrule the rest, right? So if the founders were to collaborate right now and say, we want to vote against, even though so-and-so is winning, we want to vote against that feature and just overrule. Potentially could do that if we all got together and say, let's all vote for the same thing. Yeah. One way to mitigate that just to get more liquidity in from various people. One of the ways to do that is planned already, which is to have an incentive program for existing creators to come on and bring their communities in. That will also be a sweat equity program where they can get founder lot, right, as well. So the founder lot itself, would be spread out. But like you said, we're in beta. It's early, and it is more centralized now than it will be in the future. One of the benefits of that is to be able to quickly, pivot and make decisions and have a tight team and stuff. But the idea is to more and more over time. Some of it will come with adoption. It'll naturally decentralize that way. But Den.DAO itself, that is the entity. And so the founder tokens, the matter tokens, the lot tokens, and the liquidity tokens are all the different things that are the governance model for it, right?
I gotcha.
Yeah. So that's the organizational answer, right? That's the way it works. For all intents and purposes, that's exactly how it works. The whole company is owned and operated and controlled and governed by those 4 token holders, plus the behavioral based governance system on Den, where you get a weighted vote based on that. So then we back up for a second and say, okay, great. Organizationally, it is potentially decentralized, very quickly, even if it's not as decentralized as we want it to be right now. Technically, there's an L1 server, right, on DragonNet that has its own blockchain that is, has redundancy with machines and stuff, but it is it's a, I'm not going to give too much details on it, I guess, but It is a traditional business infrastructure that is blockchain enabled, if that makes sense. And that's the design of Dragon Chain in the first place, is to be able to use the utility of the blockchains without having to publicly operate on one kind of deal. So Den is technically one of those structures where everything that's done in the system, every transaction, every vote, all of that is decentralized to DragonNet, and then further decentralized out to Bitcoin and to Ethereum, and now to Binance Smart Chain as well. But yeah, there's like, if you nuke the server, sure, like that kind of thing.
All right, on to more important questions. John, I have a question for you.
Yeah, ask away.
So, do you remember the old television show, like the Improv? It had Wayne Brady. I forget.
Yeah, Whose Line?
Yeah, Whose Line? All right. So, when are they going to do a remake of that?
It's still running.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, still got Wayne Brady, Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles, and then they have
Ryan Stiles.
A few different
Taylor or
retaining guests. Drew Carey does not host anymore because he went to The Price is Right. I forget her name.
It's Aisha Taylor, I think.
Yeah, she's really good too.
She's the voice of Lana in Archer, I think, actually, as well, which is awesome. It's great, though. It still holds up. It's excellent comedy still.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Colin and Ryan are still absolutely hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are amazing.
Colin Mockery also does an online improv show. I think it's called like Psychic Improv or something like that. It looks pretty interesting. They use like green screens and stuff. It's him and another person do like a 2-prov thing. That's pretty good.
So it's ongoing, but like, is it nationally syndicated or?
Yeah, I think it's still like on ABC or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, wow. I don't watch TV.
I don't either. I haven't had TV in so long.
I don't watch TV either, so I have no clue. I only watch it's on the CW.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the network that I tried to get pushed to when I asked the local TV station to run an ad for me, and they thought the ad was going to be stupid. They were like, "You should put it on the CW. Nobody watches that."
Oh my god!
Oh, ouch.
Yeah,
that's not what they said.
That was the CW.
Yeah.
Man, I'll take it, man. I'll put me on whatever channel you want.
Let's get John on the CW.
You can put me on
That should be like-
Skinamax. I'll just. It'd be very disappointing. It'd be very. It's like why?
Oh my god!
First of all, why does he have his clothes on? Second of all, why did they choose him? Third of all, why does he keep just saying random shit? Like, all right, here we are.
Skinamax was one of the funniest damn things that I'd ever seen when I was like younger. I was flipping through channels at Jackie's house. My now wife, her mother had like the huge TV package that was crazy. So I'm flipping through, and at some point I saw that like Cinemax became like a softcore porn station, and it's just the most phenomenal acting of all time.
Well, that's what I used to watch when I was a kid, and we had cable, but it was analog cable with filters to filter out the different channels, you know. But the filters didn't always work great, so you could sit there and watch the fuzzy channels if you were like, "Ooh, I want to go see some nipples and see if we can see some nipples."
The fuzzy
You
channels,
know? Yeah. So we would watch the fuzzy channels, and every now and then the picture wouldn't be so like it would be fuzzy, and then there'd be some banding of some frequencies that got through, and there would be some like. Oh, bare chest. Haha.
Oh, look, a nipple.
Yeah,
I'm good.
me and my
the world
My
is
stepbrother
different.
and I wake up at like 2:00 in the morning watching like Skinamax fuzzy channels that we don't have a sub to. But that was how the technology worked. Every now and then you get to see some nip.
That's wild.
That's funny.
The concept of not having an
The internet,
ungodly wealth of pornography at my fingertips at all times is wild.
Yeah, and it's like it's literally a dying generation, a breed of people that didn't know the internet, you know?
Yeah, I think I count as like the last gen, sort of.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Everybody's
I'm 94,
have
so.
a phone in their pocket and some sort of answer to their question. Whether or not
I at
it's-
least remember like
Yeah.
computers that were pre-internet times and like playing around on the first computer I ever got. It was a Christmas gift, and it was like I've been trying to find the case for it for years. It was this SPY company, but so like it just was a beige box with a CRT monitor, and we didn't have a desk, so it was just on an ironing board on our spare bed, and I just sat in front of it and I was playing Putt Putt Saves the Zoo. And
Yeah, I played
Putt-Putt.
I played a lot of like I had a Hewlett Packard. Or was it no, I didn't. I had a Packard Bell.
Worse, much
Yeah.
worse.
So I had a Packard Bell that we upgraded later to 8 megabytes of RAM.
Holy hell.
And I would play like DOS games and stuff that were really cool, like side scroller, blaster games and stuff like that. Doom.
Doom. Commander
2 was
Keen.
my birthday request. It's like the one thing I wanted was Doom 2. But then I remember dialing up on like a modem, my friend's phone number, like not over the internet. We would just tie up the phone lines and dial modem to modem to play StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What a long game that would be to tie up the phone lines with, too.
Mm-hmm.
My first computer was like that. I bought it at Costco. It had 4 megs of RAM, and
Hell yeah.
it was like blazing fast because everyone else had 2 megs. You know.
Yeah,
I desperately wish I knew, because I was too young. Unfortunately, I wasn't really much of a computer nerd at the time to know like what was in the computer that I had. I know that it originally shipped with Windows ME, so that's like the only thing I've got to go on.
That
I'm
garbage.
thinking like a Pentium K6, or not a Pentium, like an AMD K6 or something like that. But I'd love to rebuild it and like have my original computer at some point. I shot it. Like I took it to a friend's house, and when I was done with it, I finally had like an actual cool computer.
Shot it with a gun?
I shot it. Like it was the first time I ever fired a gun. And I played so many video games about it that they just handed me the rifle, and I was like, let's rock and roll. Like just ready to go.
You're already trained
to blast that thing.
Man,
I think I had Windows 3.1. I think that's what it was.
As an old school computer collector for as long as I was, Windows 3.1 and DOS 6.2 was whenever I got home with a brand new like DOS machine, 6.2, 3.1, boom, I can go anywhere I need at that point.
Right.
But
I remember cursing at this thing called the internet, and people would have pictures on their websites, and it would take forever to download. It's like, no, man, what are they doing? It should only be text, so it could, it can load
it needs to be text, no pictures, no ASCII characters. I remember playing around recently. Actually, I have this cool little original like ThinkPad that's a DOS era Pentium, and I use it with a Raspberry Pi to dial into like BBS boards and stuff occasionally. The Vintage Computer Federation is a really neat website, and they have a BBS board. So I set this whole thing up to play with it. And like I'll go on there and it'll be like an ASCII thing, just loading each line by line to just see like an ASCII character graphic.
John, you got a squirrel in your tree. I think you should take care of that.
I've got a squirrel in my tree.
Why do you have a tree?
Oh, you guys, all right. So
I'm messing with you.
it's a great story. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
really
I need
quick.
to know. It's the middle. It's not even close to Christmas.
I'll tell you really quick.
He's so ahead of us. He's ahead of
sure
his time.
Christmas, right? It's
He's
this
in the
holiday
future.
that's coming up, and
I mean, arguably, it's not coming up, but all right.
I like to kind of get ahead of things, you know. So that's me. You know, I just kind of like to be ahead of whatever's going to happen.
You're in front of the future, John. You're in front of the future.
That's me. That's how I live my life.
I don't know what the white thing behind you is next to the tree, but it looks like you have like a quiver on and arrows that you could just like
Oh, yeah,
put
it does,
over your
doesn't it?
shoulder and
The
start.
effect, it's an umbrella or something, but it looks like a
Yeah,
quiver.
oh, it is an umbrella, isn't it?
Oh no, that's like a light. You like open it up, and it's one of those things for like photo shoots.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So wait a
So
minute.
I'm
You have like a stage light, and you don't use it for the show that you do.
I have
once a
like
week?
6 of them. So no, for
I reorganized my whole house to have better lighting.
Which,
So-
by the way, good job on that. Looks good.
Oh yeah, thank you. I really like my little front room here. It's nice.
I'm using my high school background. Remember the high school pictures and stuff where they got the background?
Yes.
That's what you're looking at right now.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. Yep.
God,
um,
It's just like a mesh of colors.
yeah, it's like a sort of clouded gradient sort of thing.
My uncle used to be a professional photographer, so I was a little kid, and I remember going over to his house. My God. Oh my God! I remember going to his house when I was a kid and having to do a photo shoot. Like I'll find the picture. I look like a little jackass in like a suit, like fingers in the pants, like done up hair and everything. And I'm on one of those terrible backgrounds. But it was just in his living room. It's all set up, ready to go.
They had just figured out how to. The school I was at had the photographers were getting into digital stuff. And so Photoshop was a thing, and they offered touch-ups. And I was like, man, that is so predatory. You got a bunch of pubescent like teenagers with zits all over their faces because their body is going through hormonal changes.
And like they feel terrible already.
Or touching ups like, oh, we can get rid of your pimples for money.
For money. It's like, oh yeah, let's get these guys prepared for the future.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally.
I like that even at that point in time in your life, you were just like, oh, I get that, but that's kind of fucked up. Like,
I'm thinking, I'm just using blue tape over the camera, and I'm thinking the NSA could probably decipher the blue tape.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
they
figure
can
out-
look through it.
diffraction patterns actually.
They can get your voice.
Yeah. You can actually use one of NVIDIA's new 4090 GPUs with extra reverse ray tracing, and it'll backwards interpret. It'll reverse engineer the light path where it originated from through a refractive surface like cloth or tape to recreate the original image perfectly. It's pretty amazing hardware.
Okay, now I'm really freaked out. I'm really freaked out.
If you were trying to make a line of bullshit that sounded believable, like well done. Like it sounds like some NVIDIA marketing crap.
Everything I just said came out of my ass.
Do you remember when you go to like a doctor's office or like a restaurant or something and they've got like frosted glass dividers? Mm-hmm. You can take a piece of Scotch tape and put it on that and then you can see through it.
No, but now that you mention it, I think I've seen that.
Yeah, it was wild. I tested it. It was in a restaurant.
I don't know.
The frosted glass or whatever, like that frozen glass look. If you put tape over it, it's fine. So, all right, tell me about this NFT because I want it. I'm not going to buy it, but I want it.
I might.
This is.
Is it the tree NFT? The tree behind you?
No, it's a drawing that T Swift or Die has been doing some MS Paint style drawings. This one's actually you got fancy. What are you using? Is this Adobe Suite?
This is Photoshop.
Yeah, he went into Photoshop.
So he's been creating some original artwork on all the shows he's doing.
Cool.
And at some point they will be minted into an NFT collection.
I can't believe my daughter stored as a Pac-Man NFT.
Right now, he's got a picture of what it is inspired by Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And it is referencing what we were talking about at the beginning of this show, which is relevant for an NFT series, right? It's got to be a relevant, like self-referencing or capture the moment. I was there.
Oh
It says,
my God.
"Give me that butter, baby." And the Pac-Man lookalike is chasing the Ghostman lookalikes, and the pills are butter instead of MDMA.
That's
The ghosts
enabling, dude.
are
Instead of
butter.
MDMA.
The ghosts are butter instead of and the little
Ghosts.
balls are still there.
I can't get over
Walls
the
are
fact
blue
that-
butter, and actually the black butter is just the truffle infused
Ooh.
butter. So everything's butter.
So yeah.
I can't wait to tell Quentin that our terrible butter experience that the both of us are still queasy about like 10 to 12 years later is now going to be a Pac-Man NFT.
I would hope you were. I would hope you wouldn't eat like a bunch of sticks of butter and then
I didn't eat butter on anything for like a year. Like imagine bread without butter suddenly becoming preferable.
What is I am for I am. Do you know what? So Pulse Chain Jack is asking about Kim.me. Is that a Kim.com thing or what is that?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I do not know.
Let me
Wait.
look and see. So
Not
Pulse
like
Chain
Kim Commando, right?
can give some.
Well,
more info.
isn't it Kin, K-I-N? It wasn't that social media site that was, I think, Canadian based, and they wanted to have their own token, and then they ran into problems with the SEC.
Oh, really? I don't know.
There was one. I thought it was Kin, K-I-N.
So K-I-N. I'm at kin.com right now, or .me right
Right.
now. Maybe that's what it is. Let me share that. So that I've never heard of it before, but apparently it is a thing that exists, and there's apps
They have an
and
aesthetic website.
dedicated space for joint money relationships. So it's a cannabis forum. You can easily share and settle expenses by creating a kin with your partner. That's called mating. Your house share or any other joint adventure. Okay, so I can see this probably is the one that might have gotten in trouble with the SEC because they're dealing with money. I guess.
Well, no, actually, the other one was just like
Right.
it was like pre-TikTok era, and it was something like that, I think. And then they wanted to break into the crypto world with their own token, and the SEC shut them down.
Yeah,
I
don't
want to
know.
say it was like
Something they would do.
2017, 2016, somewhere around that time frame.
I was it's like split. It looks like it's like Splitwise or something where you can like just like split events and shares and stuff with people.
Mhm.
Like if you go on a trip, it's like okay, like
Yeah,
I pay for this, I pay for this, and then we'll settle up later, kind of deal.
which is
That's
pretty
kinda
cool. Yeah, it's a Splitsies app kind of thing. But I guess if people were using it to crowdsource real estate, that might be something that people looked into. I know the SEC has a bunch of old people that don't understand how technology works.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I'm sure they would apply whatever they wanted to it and say that's bad.
Isn't it amazing living in a world that apparently this is my favorite thing to think about with like the governing bodies of where we live. It's almost like they just decided like 1985 was the cutoff point, and they were just like, you know what, this is where we stop now. This is where progress stops. Everything past this, bad.
What I actually think, is there's massive corruption with not just lobbyists, but the idea that bribes are perfectly fine as long as you don't get the reward until after the deed is done, kind of thing. People getting cozy jobs after this, or people paying lobbyists to tell the Congress people what to do, which often includes drafting the law yourself as a corporation, as a private for-profit company, drafting, here, we want this passed, and sometimes that just going through as written. I think maybe like if we want to give all of the U.S. lawmakers the benefit of the doubt and say that they're all perfectly good, reasonable people, then at the very least, I would say that at some point in time, they started listening to their quote unquote advisors way too much and forming personal opinions on the opinions of others instead of
I have a little different take on that.
that's assuming that everyone is with good intentions. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only explanation I can think of is if everyone in government has good intentions, then they're obviously listening to people that are telling them the wrong information.
That's
or
an
telling
illusion.
them information or something like that. You know what I mean?
I'll give you a little, if I could put in my 2 cents on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I lobbied at a state capitol for a particular industry for a little while, and all the deals are made inside. They're not made in committee. The deals are made in the hallways. The deals are done based on who has the highest paid lobbyist in the group. And we paid somebody something to the neighborhood of about $200,000. And all he did was stick his head in the door for about 1 minute and said, "I'm with these folks." And their lobbyists realized that they were outgunned. And so soon after that, he walked out of the room, and we adjourned for a quick break or whatever. And we were approached to break for a day, and that they would come talk to us in the hallway. So that's how it works. And the deal is always cut never to fix or solve any problems. The deal is cut so that the lobbyist will come back the next year or the next session, every other year, whichever that is, to then pour more money into the quote unquote solution. And that's why nothing ever gets done. But the pockets are lined by the politician and the lobbyist. And so the human frailty of power hungry and the human frailty of greed to gain more money is what really is the driving mechanism in all of politics. For that reason, I'm an anarchist voluntarist. I just don't believe in it.
Yeah,
I've lived it.
That's how it works. That's exactly how it works.
Fuck the government, both sides.
Yeah. And I always, like, regardless of that being what I believe, when I talk to somebody who doesn't believe that, I have to just apply the argument to the other side. It's like, okay, what if you don't believe that? In the very best case, they're still wrong, and they're still doing the wrong thing. But no, I think your description, it sounds exactly like what I understood. It already worked. I didn't know the details like that, but
yeah, it's wild to get like a sudden just inside take on that. That was awesome.
That's where we are. So yeah, I don't.
This guy keeps blowing me away. Like, he's always interacting in our stuff, and now he's just in here like, let me give you the nitty gritty on how the bullshit goes down. Like, let me show you how the sausage gets made. It's
ugly. It's just ugly. Actually, that's jaded my whole. It really jaded me on the whole process. I was a political junkie. I was always into this kind of thing and chasing the dollar and that kind of thing. And it ripped me a new one, to be honest with you.
Yeah. As it does a ton of people, I'm sure.
I had a similar experience with the military. I grew up outside of a one-stop-light town, and we would go into the one-stop-light town to go to the city to get food at the grocery store, that kind of thing. And so I went from that environment to I moved around a little bit. I didn't always stay in the woods, but I stayed in small towns in southern USA, southeastern. And then I joined the Navy when I was 16 years old. They let you sign up with parental consent at 16. And I went to Chicago, and then I went to San Diego, and then I went to Bath, Maine, and then I went around the world on 3 different deployments and spent time in a whole bunch of different countries and different cultures. I had this mind melt of like, this is how the world is. What? And especially with like, this is our involvement and how the military is involved with all of this. Oh my God. I didn't realize it was like this. It's not
culture shock. Wow.
Culture shock to the extreme. Yeah. So I've had similar, like, I don't know, like,
knowing where you grew up, I couldn't imagine you going from there, jumping on a boat and just being, a ship, and just being suddenly in the world, like growing up near good old High Rock.
The training for it was great. Great.
The
training for it was great because like I learned about transistors and resistors and capacitors and how computers work. And like my first electronics school test was like, my big test was here's a pile of components. If you can assemble an AM radio and tune into any local station, you pass the test. So I learned some cool stuff, like the training was great. The experience was mixed, but I learned a bunch, definitely.
John, we
You
didn't
definitely
find
have
out
some.
what happened with this tree. How did this tree magically appear in your background? Is that
Yeah,
a
I'm still
green
wondering why you
screen,
have
or
a
is there
tree.
really
I'm
is
in
that
my
a
house.
real artificial tree? Is that really an artificial Christmas tree?
It's a real fake tree. It's a real fake tree.
Do you just leave it up year round?
That's how.
I'm gonna be honest. So like basically what's like I have a lot of stuff in my house. There's a lot of stuff here. Like way too much stuff. And there's just like
Me.
we're moving. So it's like, why am I gonna take all this stuff
That's
down
right.
when I gotta either sell it, get rid of it, do something with it? And like we have, I don't know, it's like 2,600 square feet with way too much stuff in that amount of space. And that's like a lot of space to like clean, maintain, and deal with. So like I'm always just doing something else. And I don't care about having a tree up in the corner. I think it's just kind of funny. And most of the time I forget about it.
Well, it started a whole conversation this morning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, more power to you.
And it's a conversation starter. You know, I got my brother's painting next to it. I got a
I was
stack
actually
of board
wondering what that
games.
was.
You know what I did for a while when I lived in DC, I had a conversation started that was similar to your tree. It was one of those family photo album things that you put on the wall. It's got like 8 spots where you can put photos, and it says like family over the top. So I got one of those from, I think, Target or something. And it had such a nice looking family in it already. So I just put it up on the wall. I left the stock photos in it, and it was like a bunch of white people and a couple of Indian kids. And invariably somebody would come over the house, looking around, checking out the decor, and they'd stand in front of this, looking at it like, scratching their thing. I'm like, oh, they're gonna ask me about it. I know it. You know what I mean? So they'll look at it for a minute and they'll say, hey, who are these kids? Because they just don't match.
Who are the two
So,
Indian kids?
and I'll be like, oh, I don't know. It came with the frame, and then
All right. So if you want a really
remember
good way, if you want a really good way to mess with people, though,
okay,
get some frames, right? And then before your friends come over, print out pictures of their parents as
their family,
and put it in the frames. And then also, while they're there, take a picture of them and then print it and put it in a frame.
While they're there.
While they're there. Like you got to get like a nice high quality printer, some nice paper.
Like when they ask,
like printer.
when they ask for directions
today.
You could go a step further. What you could do is you could pay a private eye to go take a bunch of pictures of them, and then have them put on coffee mugs or something, and they come over for your house for the first time, and
your house
you pour them coffee, their mugs with their picture on it.
Engraved champagne glasses. It's like, yeah, come over for mimosas for brunch, and then the champagne glasses are etched and engraved with like their family name on it or something. Yeah.
I have 2 quick things I have to say about photographs. 3. One, that's fucking hilarious. Like just putting one in the house while they're there.
Oh, that's all.
But when I was younger, my mother's house was like this like nice dining room and everything, and she had 4 photos on the wall of me from being like school pictures. It was like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So my mom is the kind of person that if there is a thing out of place, she'll notice it. But if you swap that item for a different item, she won't necessarily notice it. So I changed out my 3rd grade photo for a picture of Kim Jong-un, and I put it up there, and I waited for 2.5 years. And finally one day I was like, Mom, have you never noticed the damn picture? And she looked at it and was like, oh my God, when did you change that? I told her 2.5 years ago, and she was like, I've had guests here. Like they've seen the dictator of Korea on my wall.
Oh, that's
and on top of the other one from that I did was to mess with my friend Cassie's husband. She's the one that caters all of our events now, which is cool.
Yeah.
So she had, when my father passed away, unfortunately, I acquired a ton of photographs of me as like a little kid, and nobody needs a bunch of baby pictures of themselves. So she was looking at him, and we were like, what if we put a bunch of these around your house and see how long it takes like Tanner, her husband, to realize it? So there were framed pictures of me as a baby in her house for months before finally he was like, who the hell is this kid? And it was like, oh, that's David. It's like, what? That's weird. And it's still there. It's been there a couple of years now, I think.
I've never been able to differentiate between my baby pictures and my brother's baby pictures.
I just look like a
I always
fat
had to be
baby.
like, Mom, is this me or is this who's that?
You were a healthy baby, okay? Fat babies are healthy babies, okay?
Luckily, I didn't have any like siblings or anything really, so I didn't have to worry about deciphering which picture it is. Also, they don't just display pictures of me at the house, which is nice. Or a bad thing.
It is 11 o'clock Florida man time. I just
Holy
realized.
crap! I gotta stay on my ride.
We are up against the time wall. We got schedules and stuff.
I'm gonna do that whole life thing.
I am for
Oh,
I am.
hey.
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Thank you.
Feel free to pop back in whenever you want. I feel like we could have a very interesting, skeeving, angry political discussion.
Sure,
thanks for
sure.
everyone-
Oh, and we always bring up religion too because
Oh, hell
ex-Mormon.
yeah.
I'm ex-Mormon, so that'll be.
Oh,
really
that's
nice.
right. You're that. We gotta have it. You're coming back on at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever we can do to really alienate half of whatever
Half of
people
our
are
viewing
watching.
audience.
Yeah.
Right.
Just whatever I can
Religion
do.
and politics is always the way to go, right?
Oh, it's my
Oh,
favorite.
absolutely.
yeah.
First dates. That's what I do.
The questions this week were great.
Yeah, seriously,
especially
those were
like
stuff.
I thought they were awesome. So
And serious talk to Jacob Wayne. Get a hold of one of us through if you just want to like send me or Dave like a lore tip or whatever the cheapest one is to just send us that, or was it I'm Gravity Crab CW Coffee with Den, so CWD at Proton Mail. So just feel free to shoot over some info and we'll figure out what we're gonna do about that drive.
yep, either that or DM us when DMs hit soon.
Yeah.
That'll be a thing.
But if you need it done sooner, let us know.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind taking a crack at it. You have the same. You've done this more than I have at this point, I think. So that'd be great.
And if you want to get a hold of me,
you know what? We can before you jump that in there, me and you can go ahead and do it. And if you want, we can like record little bits of it. And it would be kind of neat. So I could like,
do
send
a
them
tutorial.
Yeah,
on
seriously.
how to do
I
it.
like that idea because I'd love to show people how to get like certain bits of data, not necessarily
For matter. Yeah.
For matter. So
what's up, John?
And if you need to get a hold of me, just whisper into the wind at 8:07 towards the northwest corner, and just sign it with a kiss, and I'll get it.
Yeah.
What color candles do we have to burn?
None, because
Really?
candles are bad for. I don't know if people know this. Candles are bad for the ozone. Okay. Yeah.
I was doing my weekly shit to do in Gainesville list, and there was a yoga class at a brewery, and they're taking a $5 donation to offset their carbon footprint. Now that's for the brewery, but when I read it, I was like, "Wait, but for yoga? Does that create a large carbon footprint that I wasn't?"
Be careful. That's going to become a rumor, and Facebook's going to take it, and it's going to
think about the
real.
methane. Think about the methane released during yoga. All these people stretching, releasing their bowels, moving
the ozone, man.
Working
around.
next to a yoga studio.
Yoga's bad for the ozone. That's what it is.
We had an extension built on our house, and I did it with candle wax. And I was telling the building inspector, my house will never burn down. He goes, "But I'm sorry, it's just not approved building materials." And I said, "Come on, what's wrong, dude? I mean, okay, my house will melt, but it's not going to fall.
It ain't going to
burn down."
You don't got to worry about that.
There's no candle wick in there. It's all
Is there
wax.
a melted house
It
insurance?
must have been the ozone problem.
Must have been the ozone.
Yeah, they didn't want you to deplete the ozone with your wax. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, on that, we got to sign off. It's 11:06.
That's been Coffee with Den. Thanks again for the excellent questions. Thanks for hopping in. I am Priam. We are live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. this time. Just as a reminder, there's a Den.social call on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And so that's where we talk about a lot of the things that we talked about today. You can get a deeper conversation in that meeting. It's not a show, it's a meeting. And it's I'm almost always there. Joe Roach is almost always there. And it is also open, just like this show is, where we have a link to join on the post. And that post is not up yet, but it is drafted. So it'll be in the Den.social layer before Thursday at 3 p.m. So that's where you can find that. And then catch tomorrow. The theme for World Blockchain Roundtable is freestyle. So go throw a question in there. It's literally like anything goes subject this week. So you can add anything you want. That's in the WBRT layer. And let's see, one check of the comments before I bow out. Barry Crowder, how you doing? We are here, but we're on our way out. So you're welcome for the show. I hope you caught more than just the end of it. But if not, you know, we got reruns. You can watch it again.
And feel free to bug us next week. That's what we do.
Rewind button. Yeah, bug us next week. We'll catch you then. And I don't know. Just thanks everyone. I think that DMs are going to be so cool.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody listened last week when we talked about at the governance call. We talked about how that's designed. It isn't just like everybody else is doing it kind of thing. There's a marketplace involved. There is filtering, spam involved. There is the marketplace is the filter, right? There's not a filter in the way that traditionally you would think of things being censored or filtered. There is a marketplace involved where, you'll see when it comes out, or you can swing by the governance call and talk about it then.
Subtle plug for governance call.
Yeah. We need more people over there. And that is a good answer for the question about centralization as well. Because the governance call is where the decisions get fleshed out, right? When there's, okay, how does this work? What kind of ideas do we have? What's needed? How do we solve that problem? Is that doable now? What's the priority? Those kinds of questions and answers and discussions happen on the Den.social call every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
I'll be there.
Cool. Sounds good. Gravity Crab, T-Swift or Die, you got anything you want to plug?
Nah, I'm golden today.
All right. I am. You want to plug anything before we get out of here?
No, have a good day.
All right. Everybody have a good day. Here is Enter the Dragon by Y'all Weird.
Oh, Dave, take it home.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.